God will give it to you, but God will give it to you in his way. Okay. Now, whether you believe, God, source, universe, it doesn't matter for the sake of this discussion. We will classify all of that in the superconscious category. Okay. So it's all going to be superconscious. So now let's take a look at the Lord's Prayer, okay, in the Christian Bible, King James Version. Okay, this is the Lord's Prayer appears in two different places, but we're just going to take it in general. Okay, so we're not being specific. I'm not a Bible scholar. Okay, so I want to make that perfectly clear. But I do know esoteric knowledge. Okay, so let's take a look at it from that perspective. Our Father who art in heaven. Okay, it's the law of divine oneness. Okay, why is that? Well, everything originates from one source, and we're all connected to the Creator and to each other. Okay, what connects us? Our energy. That's what we all have in common. Okay, our energy. Everything is energy. Okay, quantum physics tells us everything pops in and out of existence. Okay, everything is energy. So the universal principle is that there is no separation between God and the universe, okay, and all living creatures, okay, all living beings. Okay, hallowed be thy name. It's the law of vibration. The name of God is a high frequency. What is that name? I am. So in the Bible, in the book of Isaiah, God reveals himself to Moses as I am. He says, tell the people of Israel, I am sent me. So I am is a very high vibration, and this is why when you do I am affirmations, they work. They make you feel good. So if you're not feeling well, if you're feeling kind of, depressed or feeling down or, that kind of feeling, then just start writing I am affirmations and do 100 of them. 100 positive I ams. I am happy. I am friendly. I am courteous. I am kind, right? I am generous. Just keep writing. Keep writing positive I ams like that, and you will see how it lifts your spirit because you are summoning the I am in you, okay, in here, okay? The kingdom is within, it's inside, and that's what you'll be doing. You'll be calling upon your divine source that you have in here. Okay, so the law of vibration, it's a sacred vibration of love and light. Okay, God is love. Okay, and people talk about, especially religious people will talk about God punishing like all day long, right? And I grew up with that. And in fact, my mother always used to tell me, God will punish you, But here's how it really works, okay? How it really works is through your subconscious. So God never punishes, never ever. We do. We punish ourselves, okay? Because we have a subconscious and because the subconscious learns in repetition. So what happens? Well, because the subconscious learns in repetition, you put a thought into the subconscious. Now, when that thought keeps hitting the subconscious over and over and over again, okay, a belief is a thought you keep thinking, then what happens? Then you believe the thought. Okay, now the thought, if it is a bad thought, will lead to a bad result. That's the punishment. God does not punish. Okay, we punish through our subconscious because when we think negative thoughts, it turns out into a negative action. The negative action gives us negative results, which is the punishment. Okay, now you could be punished by a bunch of minor things. Okay, maybe you make a bad decision in the store and then you buy something and then, because it was a bad decision because it was like maybe something cheap, and then you bought something cheap and then you took it home and it broke and now you wasted money. Okay, there you go, punishment. Okay, or something negative. Okay, we don't have to say punishment, but I hear that term thrown around a lot. Oh, God will punish you. God, this, that, whatever. No, we do that. We're human beings. We punish ourselves. We make a bad decision, we suffer the consequences. First you think it, then you do it. Okay, now, if it happens over and over and over again, okay, this is because it's become a subconscious program. And when it starts to happen over and over again, and you keep getting punished, what does that mean? Well, that could mean you never hold on to a job, right? Because maybe you're doing the same thing over and over, showing up late, whatever the bad habits are. Okay, maybe it's not taking instruction, or maybe you have a problem with supervisors or superiority figures and or whatever, and maybe you buck the system kind of thing, or the job kind of thing, or the chain of command kind of thing, right? Like that. And then what happens? Then you get the results. Fired, right? Fired, okay? And you keep getting those results because the actions keep happening, okay? And when the actions keep happening, you're going to get the same results. And that's why they say that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting better results, okay? It doesn't happen. It cannot happen. Okay, so our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, the law of vibration. Okay, the universal principle is that we revere and focus, what we revere and focus upon raises our vibration. So if you're focused on the name of God, the I am, okay, your vibration raises. What are we talking vibration? We're talking emotions, okay? Your emotional vibration. Okay, now when you're around people that are negative, or all the negative vibes, right? When you're around those kinds of people, do you get good results? No, you don't. When you're around positive people, do you get results? Yes. Why? Because they're in a good mood, they do good things, good results. Easy, right? Okay, so let's go. We're doing the Lord's Prayer. We're analyzing the Lord's Prayer in esoteric terms, in the hidden knowledge, okay? And applying universal law to it. So, and we're going to show you how this prayer is actually perfect, okay? So, hallowed be thy name, law of vibration. Thy kingdom come is the law of correspondence, okay? As above, so below. As within, so without. On the inside, okay? As it is on the outside. Actually, it's on the outside as it is on the inside. What does that mean? Well, that means if you're disorganized in here, your desk is going to be disorganized. Your car is going to be disorganized. Your house is going to be disorganized. Why? Is it because you like a disorganized house? No, you can't help it. Why? Because you're disorganized in here. Can you fix it? Of course you can. Okay, we're going to get to the fixing part in a minute. Okay, so thy kingdom come, the law of correspondence. Okay, the divine realm can manifest on earth when we align with it. Okay, alignment. Okay, aligning with it. Universal principle. Okay, our external reality mirrors our internal reality. Okay, and it also mirrors higher spiritual truths when we live in harmony with divine law or with God's law. Okay, so we'll say superconscious over here for those of you that have different belief systems, okay? So whoever you believe, whatever, Allah, Jesus Christ, Yahweh, whatever, however you believe, okay, we're going to insert that over there on the superconscious. Now, so thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. It's the law of alignment or divine will, okay? True manifestation occurs when the personal will aligns with divine will. What does that mean? When you work in concert with God, because you're a co-creator with God. When you join with God, okay, that's when the magic happens. You by yourself it's just yourself. Okay, but God lives in here. The kingdom is within. Jesus Christ said, the kingdom is within. So what do? We embrace that energy. Okay, you're not your body, you're not your name, you're that energy that lives in here. Okay, and you're going to join with the divine energy that also lives in here. Okay, or let's say it another way, you're going to exercise that energy. You're going to invoke that energy, and that energy will bring everything into your life. Okay, but it's an alignment between the conscious mind, subconscious mind, and God or the superconscious. Okay, when all three are aligned. So those of you that don't believe in God, it's okay, it's all good. So you just have conscious and subconscious to deal with. But when you align the two, when the two are working synergistically together, okay, then that's when the magic happens. Okay, so give us this day our daily bread. It's the law of abundance. Okay, We are provided for in every moment. Okay, I keep telling you guys about the cats. Okay, I walk at this park, right? In the morning, I do 3 miles. Haven't done it this week because I'm working on meditation, but 3 miles, okay? And I see these old ladies, okay, these beautiful souls, and they bring canned food to the cats every day. These older retired ladies. That's their mission in life. That's their dharma. Okay? That's their purpose. They feed the cats, but the cats eat like kings. They eat canned food. They eat better than some people's house cats. And they live in the park. And they get catered breakfast every day. Catered, canned food. Okay? That's how the universe or God or source, whatever you insert belief system here, okay? That's how God works. Even the cats eat. I keep telling you guys, even the cats eat, okay? So, universal principle, right? So, the universe responds effortlessly when we surrender resistance, when you let down the resistance. Remember? Keep telling you guys, push, 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 work hard, work hard, work hard, work hard. That's all resistance. But you think if you stop pushing, if you stop doing this, everything's going to go away. Okay. When my best friend died, he was my business partner as well. When my best friend died back in 2015, I thought my companies were all going to fall down. Okay, I have several companies. You put my name in any browser, you'll see everything. But I'm not here to flex. That's not why I'm saying this. But why I'm saying this is because I had so many responsibilities that I thought, wow, now that half of us is gone, because it was just me and him, was partners, okay, business partners, okay, work partners. We used to work together. Okay, we used to work with a whole bunch of people. But here's the thing, right? I thought everything was going to fall down. So when he died, I wasn't just sad that he died. I was worried, okay? Worry, okay? Something you shouldn't do, okay? And I knew I shouldn't do it, but I couldn't help it. It was there. And I was worried that everything would fall to the floor. Did it fall to the floor? No. Was I scared? Yeah. Scared the hell out of me. What happened? Everybody came to help. Oh, Junior, you need this. Well, hey, Junior, yeah, I'll help you with this. All right, Junior, let me help you with this. Everybody came. People that I didn't expect, people that I didn't know cared. They just came. Oh, let me help. No, we do this for you. Yeah, we got this. People came clean my office. So, hey, come on, yeah, we do this for you. No worries. Okay? That's God working. I'm here to tell you that's God working. Okay? But that's what happened. As a result, none of my companies were in jeopardy. None of them. And they all survived just fine. Why? Because everyone came to help. Okay? So that's the law of divine alignment. Okay? So, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Okay, so when we work with divine will, when we surrender, when we say, okay, we're going to, the Christians have a expression, right? They say, give it to God. Give it to God. It's hard sometimes because we don't want to let go. We want to hold on. Okay, when the burdens come, when the problems come, we want to take on the problems. We want to solve the problems. It's hard to just let go and say, okay, I'll let God handle it. It's very difficult to do that, okay? Now, if you have the bigger responsibilities you have, because I have friends that have companies way bigger than mine, like tons bigger, okay? With hundreds of employees. I don't have hundreds of employees. Thank God. But, okay? But the bigger your responsibilities, the harder it is to surrender. Why? Because you feel you have to manage. You feel you have to have that hands-on. Okay? You feel that way. But I'm here to tell you, nothing bad happens when you let go and let God. That's what Christians say, let go and let God. Okay, give us this day our daily bread, law of abundance. Okay, we are provided for in every moment. The universe is infinitely abundant. It reproduces. Okay, everything reproduces. Gold, oil. Okay, don't believe that fossil fuel stuff. Okay, that was created to create scarcity in the minds of consumers. Okay, give us this day our daily bread. The universal principle is trusting divine supply. Okay, we receive what we need in perfect timing. So when you're doing your affirmations, when you're doing your meditation, your vocalization and visualization, trust in God's time. Trust in, if you want to say God, universe, source, whatever you want to say. Jesus Christ, Allah, however you see it. But trust in that. Okay? So forgive us our trespasses. We're looking at the Lord's Prayer. We're analyzing the Lord's Prayer this morning, and we're showing you how this prayer is perfect, okay, and how it relates to universal law, and we're giving you the esoteric knowledge behind it, okay? So give us this day this is not church, by the way, okay? It's not church. Give us this day our daily bread. It's the law of abundance. We are provided for in every moment, okay? By trusting divine supply, we receive what we need in perfect timing when we trust. Good morning, Nora. Okay, trust is hard sometimes. It's hard to trust. Because why? Because we've been let down. Everyone has been let down, okay? Everyone. If you've been let down enough, right, now you have it in your subconscious. And what are you doing? You're thinking, well, I don't know if I'm going to get let down. You know, I like this girl. I want to ask her out, but I don't know. I might get let down. You see? Okay, and too much of that produces fear. And the fear slows your life path down, okay? So if you're thinking like, well, I really want to ask her out, but I don't know. I might be turned down, or I might be let down, right? Too much of that feeling will do what? It will paralyze you. You won't follow through on it. You won't ask her out. You won't, you see? Like that. All right. So, forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. It's the law of cause and effect, the law of karma. Okay? The law of karma. Forgiveness frees both giver and receiver. Forgiveness. Breaking of cycles of negative energy. Okay, so you have to forgive, not just the person for the person, but for you. Okay, it's important to forgive for you, because it breaks that karmic bond. Okay, because there's a cause and effect, right? And to prevent the effect of the cause, forgiveness is important. Otherwise, these things, resentment. So resentment is like that small little anger, small little degree of anger that goes on and on and on and carries on like that, okay? So it's very important to forgive. Then that way you break that karmic chain, okay, or that karmic bond. Okay, the universal principle is that what we give out returns to us, right? But it's through our subconscious, okay? To be forgiven, we must forgive. The subconscious learns to forgive. Are you the kind of person that forgives all the time? If you are, it's because your subconscious has learned to forgive. Are you generous? Your subconscious has learned to be generous. Are you angry all the time, upset all the time, frustrated all the time? Your subconscious has learned to do that. Okay, so let's go to the next part. Lead us not into temptation. It's the law of choice and free will. You have free will. You can be tempted. You can be led into temptation. Okay? Lead us not into temptation. We're all given free will to choose our path. Divine guidance helps us stay aligned, okay, with higher truth, with God. Okay? So our choices create our reality. Right? Actions, right, produce consequences. Okay, so when you take action, right, same thing. Okay, so the universe supports decisions made in love and wisdom. Okay, remember the Remember the frequencies. The highest frequency is love. When you come from love, when you make a decision that's rooted in love, okay, and this also calls to mind rushing. When you're rushing to judgment, when you're rushing to a decision, you are not being grateful. Anytime you rush to judgment, remember what we were doing the other day, identifying with things? When you identify yourself, that energy in here, you identify it with something else, you are diminishing your being. You're saying, I am that. I am the attorney. I am the doctor. I am the whatever it is. Okay, so the idea is you are awareness. Okay, you're awareness. That's what you are. Awareness does not need to identify with anything. The identifying principle of awareness is to observe. Just to observe. You can observe it and not engage with it. Okay? So you be very selective what you engage with and what you don't. Because why? Because when you get the thought, okay, the emotional feeling follows the thought. Okay? You are awareness. When you observe the thought, you can say, oh, okay, well, I don't want to touch that one, and let it go. The emotion will follow and go. But when you join a thought, when you engage with a thought, what happens? Now, here comes the emotion, okay? Now you're going to engage with the emotion. You think a sad thought, now a sad emotion, now you're sad because you've engaged, okay? Now your vibration is lowered, okay? All right, so we're doing the Lord's Prayer. We're talking about how it's a perfect prayer, okay? So so lead us not into temptation, the law of choice and free will, and then but deliver us from evil. Okay, it's the law of polarity. Why? Darkness exists to show us light. Okay, do you know some dark people? I have dark friends. I know dark people, and you know what? They hang out in the dark. They love the dark. Okay, they love dark activities. But guess what? Too much of the dark activities, and guess what happens? They go back over here in the light. Okay? When they get bored over here in the light, they go back in the dark. Okay? So people go back and forth. Okay? That windshield wiper thing I talk about, right? Good decision, bad decision. Good decision, bad decision. Right? So we make a lot of decisions. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. We're all humans. Okay? Myself included. Guilty right there. Okay? All right. So now, for thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. This is the law of perpetual transmutation of energy. Remember the transmutation of energy, universal law? We discussed it several times. Okay, so you can take energy and transmute it. You can take negative energy and make it positive energy. You cannot extinguish energy. Okay, so those of you that maybe aren't familiar, this energy in you leaves your body, but it doesn't get extinguished. This energy in you is eternal. It's eternal. It changes form, okay, but it leaves your body, okay. When you look at the principle of metempsychosis, you could come back as a lily pad or a frog or a tree. Okay, we don't know. We don't know for sure. Scientists don't know. Okay. But energy cannot be extinguished. You are eternal in here. This is a physical body. There's a separation between the body and the spirit. Okay, the spirit is eternal. The body only lasts so long. So take care of your body. Okay. So the law of polarity, okay, the universal principle, every negative force has its opposite. Okay. So choosing love dissolves negativity all day long. Okay. Choose love. Because it doesn't matter what the subject is. I'm not talking about Valentine's Day love. I'm talking about love, okay? Good intention, okay? Kindness, compassion, generosity, love, okay? Those things. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so for thine is the kingdom, power, and glory forever and ever. The perpetual law of transmutation of energy. All power and glory return to God. Okay, where energy eternally transforms and flows. So this energy returns to God. Don't believe the fear tactics. Okay, it goes back to God. Now, some people choose God, some people don't. Freedom of choice. Okay, it's that easy. Okay, it's not like everybody has to. It's up to them. Divine energy is infinite, unending, and ever expanding through creation. The universe is expanding, always expanding and growing. Okay, this is why human beings evolve, they grow. Our society is getting better. It's not getting worse. There's two kinds of people, right? The kind that see things getting better, and then the kind of people that see everything get worse. Okay? I see the things that aren't right. I see things that I think aren't right. Okay, but for the most part, okay, when I was 18 years old, hanging out in Waikiki, singing and playing music in Waikiki, people used to smoke in elevators. Now, if somebody does that, it looks crazy. But things were crazy. They got better. Okay, now we have laws. Now we have policies. Now people don't smoke in elevators or restaurants. Okay, that's just an example, but I'm saying that we evolve. We get better. We get better as we go. Okay. Good morning, Edna. How you doing, sweetheart? So, for thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Okay? Transmutation of energy. Okay? If it's bad energy, just know that you can change it into good energy. Okay? And if it's good energy, you can change it into bad energy. But it's the transmutation of energy. The other form of transmutation, okay, in Napoleon Hill's book, Sexual Energy Transmutation, right? You take that, and instead of expending it that way, in the sexual way, you apply it to your purpose, to your career, and you put that energy in that. And that's what makes it go, okay? And that book was basically written for young men in their 20s. That's when they're in their prime. Okay, women, 40s. Different. All right, so the Lord's Prayer, when translated into universal laws, okay, we see that it's a blueprint for spiritual alignment. It's a perfect prayer. Okay, now some people, may have thought that, well, the prayer was just made up and, no, it was carefully constructed. It's very highly spiritual. It's for spiritual alignment. So when you say the Lord's Prayer, okay, I'm not trying to push Christianity on anybody, okay? I'm not doing that, but I'm just saying, I'm stating what it is, okay? But this is for spiritual alignment, manifestation, forgiveness, all of these things. Okay, so it talks about all this stuff. Source energy, God, talks about all of this stuff. It affirms that we are a part of a divine, abundant, and interconnected universe. Everything is connected. Energy in here, okay? Everything is energy. And everything is governed by unchanging spiritual laws. The spiritual laws don't change. The same spiritual laws that were accessed 100 years ago is the same spiritual laws that work today. And you're not seeing an escalation of bad stuff out there, okay? We just have these now. So we see the things that get the most attention. We see those more often. So when it looks like the world is just going to pieces, no, there's a balance. There's always a balance. That's universal law. Okay, but because we have technology, we get it right away, okay? And the algorithm will feed you the most popular stuff, right? So that's what's happening. The world is not getting worse, okay? It just looks like it appears to be. So don't buy into the hype, okay? Don't buy into the illusion. Okay, so now let's look at the subconscious and how does the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious play into this. And how do you get the things you want? Okay, so the best thing is not to think of it like stuff you have to do. Look at it like stuff you have to get rid of. Look at it like stuff you have to clear. Okay, I've been building for years and years and years. You know, I used to be on the radio in Hawaii for like 4 hours in the morning. So I'd get there at 4:30 and I'd leave at 9. And then I go to my office and I work for my companies. You know, so it was an insane amount of work. How did I keep the work going? Meditation, affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. All the top performing CEOs in the country do this. They all, I don't know if they all meditate, but they all do affirmations, all of them. Because this is what works. It's not because, you know, it's a trendy thing or it's a popular thing. No, because it works. When you change your mind, you change your life. This is why this is mindset training. Okay, this is mindset coaching. I mindset coach for executives. Okay, so all of them do it. Okay, now the meditation, some of them do, some of them don't. Because it takes time and they have to sit still for 5 to 10 minutes a day. Not everybody can do that. Okay, but praying is talking to God. Meditating is listening to God. You have to do both. Okay? Angela, I play Spanish guitar. That's why, yeah, I know it looks weird, right? Yeah. I have nails on this hand. No nails on this hand. Yeah. Don't let it freak you out. Okay, so I'm sorry, I don't always see the comments. I just happened to catch that one. I saw the question mark. So anyway, so affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. Now the vocalization is speaking the dream. Okay, and the visualization is first of all seeing yourself worthy, seeing yourself there. If you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. If you cannot see it in your mind, you will not hold it in your hand. This is why you have to act as if. This is why you have to have dress rehearsals. You have to go through the motions. Okay, I had this guy, right? I always tell this story. I had this guy, and he wanted to work at this insurance company who wanted this position. So I told him affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. And I told him, you have to act as if. Because he didn't have a job at the time. And I told him, get dressed every day. Go down to that building, walk into the lobby, just absorb the decor, the atmosphere, the ambiance. Go absorb it every day. And he went down. He did that for like a week and a half. Then he got a job at the insurance company. It wasn't the position he wanted, but he got the job. Okay. Manifestation is super easy. I've been putting it in my stories for years and years. I've been showing people how to do it. I don't think everybody puts it together or anything. But on my Facebook, I do that. I don't do it here on this platform or that platform. But I do it on Facebook so that people can see these things, you know, and pretty soon they see me drive off with the car. They see me, whatever, you know, whatever it is. But visualization and vocalization are the two most imprintable methods for your subconscious. Okay, try a vision board. It works. It's not witchcraft. It's subconscious. People get the wrong idea. Now, if you want to go, you know, I don't know, invent a spell and draw a star on the floor and do a little dance and throw some salt or whatever it is they do, if that makes you feel good, okay, go ahead. Okay? If you want to grab a Ouija board and whatever, okay, go ahead. But you have a subconscious. Okay? And that subconscious is linked to God. Or let's say the universe, or source, or the infinite intelligence that governs all things. You can say it that way. That's superconscious. So the conscious, the subconscious, and superconscious have to work synergistically together. The conscious mind has to send the correct thoughts to the subconscious. In other words, don't think about what you don't want. Think about what you want. And only send those thoughts. when a bad thought comes, because bad thoughts affect you, whether you understand it or not. But when the bad thought comes, just say stop. Stop and refocus. Focus on something you want. When I'm having a bad day, I go on Amazon and I look at all the stuff I want. Sometimes I gotta make stuff up, but I go on there and look at stuff. Okay, I just look. I go on, the popular, whatever, what's trending. I go look at that. Why? Because it takes my mind off the stuff I don't want to think about. Okay, another thing, vision boards. Okay, so this is one of my vision boards for my company. There's vision boards and gratitude boards. Okay, and you can do this. This is very easy to do. And you can do this. You can do this in Instagram or Facebook in the stories, and you can make your own. Okay, then you use it as your lock screen. Now, when I get a bad thought, or let's say something goes wrong in the day, okay, I say stop, and I grab my phone and I pick it up, and my phone lights up, and I see things I'm grateful for. And you got to put yourself in the middle. Put yourself in, I know it feels weird sometimes, right, looking at yourself, but put it yourself in the middle, because your subconscious needs to see these things surrounding you. Okay, that draws things into you in your subconscious. It's not witchcraft, it's not evil energy, it's not demons, it's nothing like that. Okay, it's nothing, it's a mental discipline. Okay, so discipline just means over and over, that's all. So don't let it scare you. People are like, oh, discipline, I got a discipline, I hate discipline. There's a time in my life when I hated it too, when I was a kid, right? But anyway, do that. You can put your pets on here. You can put your significant other on here. People you love, things you love. It doesn't matter what it is. Put your house on here. You love your house, put your house on here. You get a bad thought, say stop, focus on the house. So it's called refocusing, okay? Reframing and refocusing are very important. Okay, so when you reframe something, that means you take a bad situation and you reframe it into a good situation. Like I got into an accident. Okay, reframe that. I didn't lose my car. It was a minor fender bender. Instead of saying I got in an accident. Oh, I gotta pay my insurance company or whatever it is. Okay. Whatever the bad part is, reframe it into the good part, because there's two sides to everything. Okay. There's a bad side and a good side. Find the good side. Okay. In relationships, look at the good part of your partner or your potential partner, or girls you like or guys you like or whatever. Look at the good part. Focus on the good part. Why? Because what you focus on intensifies. When I meet women, I focus on their good parts. Sometimes I'll have a woman say like, well, my nose, and they call attention to the negative parts of that. I said, no, don't do that. Right? Because the rest of the date, you're just focusing on the nose. That's, and then pretty soon you start agreeing with her. Yeah, that is a weird nose. You see, so don't focus on stuff like that. Focus on good stuff. Okay? Focus on the smile or whatever, or the guy, maybe it's the muscles, maybe he's cut, maybe whatever. Focus on that. Okay, the good stuff, the good habits. Okay, when you look for good things, you'll find it. Why? Because it will show itself to you, and it will show more positive things to you, because that's the way the reticular activating system in your brainstem works. Where's that? It's at the base of your skull. It's called the RAS, the reticular activating system. A lot of people don't know about that, but it's a filter that human beings have that filters out things we're not focused on. So the things we are focused on start to jump out at us. Why? So we can bring it into our lives. If you've been conditioned to believe the system, okay, then you've been conditioned, I'm here to tell you, you've been conditioned into commerce. Thinking that the only way you can get something is with money, right? The only way you can get money is to go to work, right? Wrong. There's so much you can do without money. If you think that money's the only way you can get something, you're suffering from limited thinking. Let God do it. Try it. Try and surrender. Try and let God do it. It happens. Okay, now I'm not suggesting you need to sit around and do nothing. Okay, just do what you regularly do. Do your regular job, do your regular thing, but then go write an affirmation for something that is a little extra. Okay? Something extra. Write the affirmation and watch it arrive somehow. Start small, because you have to start small and grow it. Okay, it's like working out. You start small with the 5-pound weights and you go 10 pound, 15, 20, 25. Okay, so when you write affirmations for money, I got up as far as 5,000 and I quit. I started writing for clients after that. I just did it to prove it. I just did it to prove it to myself, right? I got up to 5,000, but I started at $20. Then I went 50, then 100, then I went 200, then I went 500, then I went 1,000, and then I went 2,000, then I went 5,000, something like that. So, I'm just saying that when you do these things and you experiment with it, when you get the result, you go, oh man, I think that's a coincidence. We write it off as coincidence. Why? Negative thinking. A positive thinker would go, yeah, that's God. That's God doing that. I know so many people that say that they believe in God. And, oh yeah, praise the Lord. I praise the Lord. Love God. I love God. Don't trust themselves, but love God. How is that possible? God lives in here. If you don't trust yourself, you don't trust this. And this is where God lives. Okay? So if you really believe like you say, trust God. Okay? I did. When I started my first company, I didn't know how. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I said, okay, we're going to do stuff for money. We're going to make a business. Right? The rest was a learning process. The second company, right? I was like, I don't know how we're going to do this. Let's just do it. Why? Because I quit my job. And I go, all right, let's start this singing school. And then I started it. And then, and we just kind of went like this and went like this, and God took over, and boom, we ended up doing stuff. Then the record company. So the record company, I don't know anything about record companies. So what we did was we started making agreements with recording studios. So we didn't have to build a studio. So basically we bought block time and resold it. And that was the record company. And we started producing boom, 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 like that. I didn't know how I was going to do it. And the proposal came from the recording studio, because we went to go and meet them. And we went to go and talk with them. See, when you go and talk business with people, right, they'll give you options. They want your business. They'll give you options. And that was an option. Like, okay, we'll give you a discount, but you got to buy 4 hours at a time. It was like, yeah, sure, yeah. Because when we resold it, we made a profit. We made our money back, plus we made profit. That's called business. Win-win. Everybody wins. Okay, when I started my consulting company, that was the weirdest one, right? I didn't know what to do, but this Chinese feng shui master said, you're a natural consultant. You should do consulting. So I'm like, okay, so let's go build a consulting company, right? And the first client, the major chain from North America, was my first client. And where did it come from? It was under my nose at the school, because the guy's daughter was coming to me for lessons at the time. And when I became a consultant, my cards and stuff, I was passing them out to people, and I happened to give one to his wife. And his wife said, "You're a consultant?" And I said, "Yeah." She goes, my husband's having problems with his stores. And I'm like, stores? Like, where does he work? And she told me. I'm not going to say the name, but she told me. And I go, whoa. Like, it was a major chain. if you look up VMAC Consultants on Facebook, you'll see all the pictures. And we opened 3 of their stores. We did promotions at all of their stores. We did consulting for all of their stores. Neighbor islands too. I didn't know how. I didn't know anything. Don't pay attention to the hows or the whens. That's not your job. That's God's job. You got to believe in God. You got to say, okay, well, I don't know how this is going to happen, but we're just going down this road. And everything falls together. You know, people were kind of surprised. Oh, Junior's starting a consulting company now? Like, what's going on? This one guy who was he owned a candy factory. And he called my office one day and he got the phone tree. So we have a phone tree that lists all of our companies and, you know, press 1 for this, 2 for that, whatever. And he goes, what are you starting, a conglomerate? And I was like, yeah, yeah, of sorts, right? But I'm not telling you this to flex. I'm telling you because you can do it too. You can do it too. The only reason why I didn't just do one company is because for me that was too easy. I wanted a challenge. So I built a family of service companies and I'm still building them out. And they're all online. And if you go to my Instagram, Facebook, whatever, you can, I think TikTok has a link as well. Or you could just take my name and throw it in a browser and all the companies pop up. They're all online. And they're knock on wood, they're working. They're all there, they're working, they're producing, they're doing well. So my point in all of this is you do not need to know how you're going to do something. You just need to have your what. What am I going to do? What do I want to do? And you need to do something online, okay? Because the time is coming very quickly when a lot of physical things and physical labor and, you know, mom and pop, brick and mortar are all going to be gone. You guys need to get on the web because then you can make money from anywhere in the world. Doesn't matter. Okay, so figure out your what. What am I going to do? What do I want to do? What do you love to do? All the things that I do work with each other synergistically. And they're all things I love to do. I love to produce recordings, so I have a record company. I love to help people with their business and develop their business, so I have a consulting company. You know, I love to help people with their singing, so I have a singing school. Well, it's a vocal development now, but we re-imaged it for the internet. You know, I love to help people with their lives, so Here For You life coaching. That's what this is for. That's what this live is for. Okay, so just figure out your what. What do you want to do? What do you love to do? When I get up at 1 o'clock every morning, I can't wait to get to my laptop. I can't wait to get to work. When I start thinking about like, okay, today's another day, I'm gonna max it out. Because you don't know how much time you have. I don't know. I could be gone tomorrow. Reality. So figure out your what and your why. Why are you doing this? What do you want to do and why do you want to do this? And once you figure those 2 things out, let God take the rest. If you say you believe in God, then really believe in God and turn it over to God and give it to God and like, okay, go take care. I'll just walk down the road. Because that's the job of the superconscious or God. When the conscious mind makes a decision, okay, and a belief is a thought you keep thinking, that thought that you keep thinking goes into your subconscious. The subconscious shows you evidence of it and starts creating circumstances for it. The superconscious, God, starts opening the doors as you take the steps. The doors begin to open, people come into play, the right people. You know, I always talk about that scenario about XYZ company, right? You know, you want to work at XYZ company. All of a sudden, one day you're at the gym and you meet the HR guy for the XYZ company. And he goes, yeah, oh, we have a couple openings. And you go down and apply, and then you're working at XYZ company. Coincidence or God? I know some people who say they believe in God that would call that a coincidence. But then they show up at church on Sunday, they sing the songs, right? They sing the praises, they do the worship, they say the prayers, and then they go home and have absolutely no faith in themselves, defeating the purpose because God lives in here. Jesus Christ said the kingdom is within. All you have to do is believe in this. Okay? How do you get to believe in this more? Okay, first, affirmations. Okay, take your pen. I am so happy and grateful now that I'm confident. Thank you. That's the first one. Because confidence is the absence of junk in your head. When you're confident, you're clear, clarity. Okay, I am so happy and grateful now that I'm confident. Thank you. You have to write it in the present tense, now. I am so happy and grateful now. There is only this now. There's no yesterday. There's no tomorrow. There's only now. And after the sun goes down, the moon comes up, and the moon goes down, sun comes up. It's a continuation of now. But we need calendars, we need clocks, we need measurement, we need structure in our society. But you're living one long now, so you can have it now. It doesn't matter if now is 10 minutes from now or 3 days from now, it's still now. Okay, so write it that way. I am so happy and grateful now that I'm confident. Thank you. You always end it with gratitude. Okay, gratitude will get you everywhere. Gratitude will totally multiply your life. Rhonda Byrne calls it the great multiplier. So start with that. Then do the meditation. Sit still for 10 minutes. Can you do that? Try 5 minutes first. So what I do is I set my timer on my phone. And I press the timer, I put down my phone, close my eyes, and I sit there. That's how I started. I sat there for 5 minutes. It was a stretch. It was a challenge. And then 10 minutes, that was a challenge. That was a challenge. This morning I did 44-minute meditation and two 30-minute meditations. Yesterday I did 5.5 hours because I had extra time. So when I have extra time at my desk, I go into YouTube and I do a meditation. I'm more productive. My energy lasts longer. I can go farther and everything flows. Okay, I get into flow state and I can accomplish the work of maybe 3 people in 1 week. Always did that. I always did that. People that watch me from way back on social media saw me pull into the office at 4:30 in the morning. And then they saw me leave at 7:30 at night, 8 o'clock at night. You don't have to work hard. I wasn't working hard. I was working long. But I was working in flow state. Okay, there's a way to work. There's a way to work long so you don't burn out. And yeah, I did have those days like maybe once every 2 weeks where I just had to sleep because it was a thing, right? Burnout day, right? And yeah, I did that. And I did sprints like that. Do I regret it? No, of course not. Of course not. It led to my happiness. So here's the thing. When you write, I am so happy and grateful, now that, right, happy and grateful, if it's the 2 things that I know I am, is happy and grateful. Because I've been writing this stuff here, I'll show you. I've been writing this stuff for years and years and years. Okay, this is one of my used ones. Okay, this is a full one. These are affirmations. This is not journaling, okay? These are affirmations. These are instructions to my subconscious, telling my subconscious what I want it to do, how much money I expect, okay, how many clients I expect. And when the calendar starts thinning out or something, right, I start writing. Guess what? Calendar starts filling up again. And sometimes I wait a little too long, right? Sometimes, I'm human, right? I wait a little too long to write the affirmations, and then things kind of thin out, and I kind of go, whoa, hey, like my calendar's on. Like I have hardly any clients to see today. It's like, okay, I better start writing. and then it fills up again, and then I'm jamming. So it's like this. Business is like this. You're not gonna have all the money in the bank tomorrow. You're not gonna have all the clients on your calendar tomorrow. Okay? But there's two ways to wealth. Two ways. Okay? The first way, you store all your money like a squirrel. Okay? But you're living in scarcity when you do that. Okay? Save all your money. Save all your money. Okay? And then one day, I don't know, you have money to pass on or whatever, right? I would rather teach my children. I don't have children to teach. I have a grandson. Someday when I meet him, I'll teach him. But I would rather teach the younger generation the second way of wealth. Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization. Why? Because when you need something, it shows up. Okay? All of our goodness comes to us through others, from God, through others. Remember the Lahaina fires? Remember when we had the fires in Lahaina? Like all the local people just it was automatic. Everybody just went into action. Give. Right? Why? Because they need it. Who was stopping it? The government. Okay, I'm not preaching government hate. I'm just saying what happened. The government stopped it. But this is the way we are as human beings. Especially human beings that believe in God. Especially human beings that believe in abundance. Especially human beings that believe in giving, generosity, kindness, gratitude, love, compassion. All of those things, right? Local people are really good in Hawaii, local people here are really good at giving. Not as much receiving, but they're good givers. You gotta be a good receiver because you have to reward the giver. In other words, when somebody gives you a $20 bill, right? Instead of going, oh, no, what's that for? Right? Now you're dismissing the giver. You just gotta go, wow, hey, thank you, right? Like that. And try those things. Try those things because they work. They will enrich your lives. It will bring money. It will bring friends. It will bring relationships. It will bring everything into your life. And that's abundance. Abundance is not limited to Federal Reserve notes. That's not it. Okay, wealth is everything and a continuous flow of everything. And that's what brings happiness. Because then you don't need, you don't want, because you have. Okay, so yeah, Jay is over there. See you tomorrow. Thank you, Jay. Thank you for moderating over there. Thank you, Aura, for dropping in. Nice to see you. And oh, let me mention Aura before I go. This is her work. This is Aura's work. Aura Photo. Her number is 808-476-8190. Okay, and she did this for me. So she did the heart chakra right there. Boom. Okay, that's what else? She did this one for me. This one was pretty cool too. This was like I don't know. Is that crown chakra? Something like that. I don't know. Aura knows. But anyway, yeah. Support her business. It's she's on IG, Aura Love 3 @Aura Love 3. Aura, thank you so much. We'll see you guys tomorrow.